sorry.
In a faraway land, at the edge of a lush green forest, there lay a tiny little meadow. There, with his mother, lived an adorable snow-white bunny named Hayki. Hayki was a little different. While his brothers and sisters leapt and laughed, he would quietly hide among the tall grass, watching the sky, whispering to the stars, dreaming. But there was one thing Hayki really didn't like: trying, because for him, trying meant making mistakes, and little Hayki was very afraid of making mistakes. One day, a loud announcement echoed through the forest. At the Spring Festival, the big jumping contest will be held. His siblings squealed with joy, hopping and bouncing all around. But Hayki just lowered his head. In the tiniest voice, he whispered,
I can't do it. I can't jump. And what's the point anyway?
Hearing his whispers, his mother gently came to his side. She softly rested her head on Hayki's and whispered into his ear with a voice full of tenderness.
How do you know you can't do it, my dear? You haven't even tried yet.
But Hayki just stayed silent, as if the words never touched his ears. That night, in his dream, the ancient oak tree from the heart of the forest whispered softly to him.
Hayki,
Said the tree softly, as its leaves rustled gently in the breeze.
inside you, there's a small but very special kind of strength. You may not see it now, but every time you try and keep going without giving up, that strength grows a little more. Don't give up, Hayki, because one day you'll find yourself doing all the things you once said you couldn't.
When morning came, right in the middle of Hayki's little heart, there was a warm, glowing feeling. Was it fear? Or maybe curiosity? He wasn't sure, but for the very first time, a tiny voice inside him whispered softly.
Maybe I should try.
Hayki didn't join the contest right away, but every day he quietly sneaked to the riverside and started making tiny little jumping attempts. On the first day, he could barely move. On the second day, he lifted off just a bit. On the third day, whoops! He fell to the ground. But after a week, for a brief moment, it felt like he floated in the air. And after each try, his mother's voice echoed gently in his ears.
It's not about how high you jump. It's about giving it a try. Hayki, there's a beautiful light shining inside you.
One evening, his mother noticed Hayki's muddy little paws and smiled gently.
My little bunny, looks like someone's been trying.
Hayki looked away, but deep inside, a big, warm yes echoed.
The Spring Festival had finally arrived. The entire forest area was lively. The squirrels were cheering, and the hedgehogs were ringing their little bells. Everyone was excited. Hayki's siblings were already ready. They were all lined up for the race. And at that moment, Hayki quietly walked over. He went to the very end of the line. This time, there was no fear in her eyes. Instead, there was a bit of curiosity. She wondered what was going to happen. When it was her turn, everyone in the forest fell silent. Even the leaves seemed not to stir. "Hayki," whispered a surprised hedgehog. "Hayki never jumps," said a small squirrel. But just at that moment, a familiar voice rose from within Hayki. "I came to try." And then Hayki jumped, higher than ever before, as far as they said he couldn't, and at that moment, it was as if his tiny heart touched the sky. He did not win the Hayki race, but that day, he won everyone's heart. The old owl in the forest slowly nodded his head behind his glasses and said,
The greatest hero of today was Hayki, the one who didn't give up, even though he was afraid.
His siblings ran up and hugged him tight. His mother, eyes filled with tears, gently whispered into his ear,
That beautiful gift was always inside you, sweetheart. You see, everyone has something special within, but for it to shine, you must first believe in yourself. And you, my dear, you truly did.
That night, Hayki looked up at the sky. He smiled long and warmly at the sparkling stars, and then he whispered the words that came straight from his heart.
I thought I couldn't do it. Turns out I just had to try.